might not be able to participate with us today. So thank you for doing that. Again, in your chat box over there on the side, please add names of anyone that might be with you and make sure we get credit for you. And with that being said, I'll turn it over to Tommy. Thank you, guys.
Okay, good morning, everyone. We're going to start today trying to fix, and I'm going to try to help you guys fix the dual calendar invites that we have for the monthly trainings. I'm not sure what happened. Something happened with my Outlook, and I set up a bunch of recurring meetings, and now I've lost the ability to control them. So most of you may have two invites on your calendar, and I'm going to share my calendar with you. And actually, what we're doing is I don't see both of them anymore, but Michael and Randall still do. So if you look at today's date on your calendars, you'll see there's two invites. One of those is from Jessica, and the other one is from me, from Tommy. And so you really just need to delete the one from me, and you'll delete the entire series. So, or you can go in and decline it and decline series. That'll be the best way to do it. And then leave the one from Jessica. She has the new ones, they're all set up and good to go. So that'll eliminate the confusion of which meeting am I going to. Again, I can't control it. You're going to have to do it yourself. So please, if you don't have a computer in front of you, try to jot this down. Those that do, try to help them remember. But you're just going to go to the invite from Tommy, right click, and decline series. And that'll remove that duplicate from your calendar. And we want to leave the one alone with Jessica's. If you have any issues, just reach out to us. If you forget when you get back or you get time to get in front of a computer, just holler at us. It's really simple. We'll be happy to walk you back through this. But we just wanted to start with that. We really thought the issue was resolved last month, but it looks like it's still an issue. So we'll just have to work with you. You can take care of yourself very easily. Do this. If not, give us a call. Just reach out to the help desk number, and one of us can walk you through it. Thank you, and apologize for the confusion. I'll turn it over to whoever's next.
All right, that'd be me. Thank you, Tommy. So let's go right on over into Crossing Midnight, straight from calendars to Crossing Midnight. So through the last snowstorm, it was a doozy. A lot of people worked 7, 8, 10 days straight. It's a mess. You guys did an awesome job. Considering how many shifts were worked and everything, we really had very few problems. One of the issues that we continually get is not clicking through all of the segments to send everything to review and submit. It's mostly on the night shifts, and you work 3 or 4 or 5 nights in a row, you start getting tired, things start messing up. I understand, but I want to go through and show you kind of what happens and just reinforce the point that we really need to click all the way through all those to get your stuff to review and submit. Also, if you make changes to your labor page, you need to go through so it forces it to the review and submit page for the supervisor. So I'm going to go into daily journal here, and let's do it crosses midnight let's go Saturday night into Sunday. So we'll just use this as a little example here, what I did, and kind of practice on the crosses midnight. So we're going to go with the 9/13. We've got that clean activity, crosses midnight, and let's go 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Calculate the hours we're required to work. Yes. So it puts everything in here for us. That's all good to go. So we're going to hit next. We're going to go through, I'm going to skip the equipment, but to pick your piece of equipment. And then we're going to select a route. So we'll select this, whatever, US 60. Done. We're going to say you didn't use any materials, so we'll go to next. And we're going to say done. Okay, that crossed the midnight and it documented the locations, but I want to show you what the supervisor is going to see on review and submit. Okay, let's change to the, so we documented from the 25th to the 26th. We're going to go into the 26th to the Sunday morning portion. And what you're going to see is Scotty has a crosses midnight. It's red. It knows he crossed midnight, but there's no time for that. So because that employee didn't come back in that morning session and confirm his hours, confirm his location, it doesn't go to review and submit. So what can happen is the supervisor has the ability to go ahead and submit this, but there's no time or location. So sometimes if a supervisor submits the day and there's a crosses midnight connected and then they can't go back in and put that location, that's why. It's because it didn't go here. So what you need to do is go on into your labor page. It's already going to be there. See, the 6.5 hours is there, but until you confirm it, it does not go to review and submit. So all you have to do is click through those pages. The location's already there. Just confirm that that's where it's at. Make changes if you need to, but just confirm it. Next. And now when we go back to review and submit, you're going to see that time is there. There's the 6.5 hours. So that's the process, and that's what happens. So when we say if you don't click through, it doesn't make it, that's what we're trying to say and to explain to you. Any questions on that? All right. If you ever have any questions with it or trouble with it, reach out to the MMS help team. Somebody will help you out. Thank you. I'll turn it over, I think, Jessica.
Hey, Randall, there was a question real quick right at the very end.
Okay, what you got?
It says, why does this not show a warning? If it knows he crossed midnight, why can't it show a warning under the submit button?
That's a good question. Maybe something we can look into. It just at this point doesn't do that. So once again, he wasn't required to work, right? Specifically on this one, and he's still got his other time. So it's not a time during his shift schedule. But you're right. We could look into putting a warning there. Michael, do you have a suggestion on that?
No, I'm glad Tim said that. Early on, there was, and we had a bunch of issues, and we had to do some things that separated the two. And when we did that, that caused that ability of the night portion not knowing that the next morning portion wasn't finished. But we are going through the process. Thank you for, the perfect deal for us to consider again, to be aware. So we will definitely look into it, guys. We'll do our part. Okay.
All right, so if there's no other questions, then I'm just going to continue on with correcting errors for documenting work. Let's see, so how Randall just talked about crossing midnight. I'll just go right back into Scotty Smith. All right, so here's what Randall did. He put in the crossing midnight, as you guys could see. If for some reason you have corrections to the crossing midnights on maybe the hours you need to fix, make sure that you're not deleting the activity down here because there's a delete button. Don't delete just the activity because what that does is only delete for the first part of the shift. So if you're going to do that, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I want to delete it up here from the selected times. So you're deleting the times. So by deleting here, we'll go ahead and do it. It takes away the activity too, because if you only delete the activity, it's going to leave in the time, and then that's going to cause errors on your second part of the shift. So make sure just on those crossing midnights, if you're going in and editing the hours by any means, then go ahead and delete them from up here. Any questions on that?
Let it cross midnight and go to the next day. You can't go back and fix that, right? You can't then delete the time.
You mean the second part of it?
Yeah.
Correct, because now it's going to already be deleted out of there. Let me go in. So that was the 25th that I deleted it on. It shouldn't be on the 26th either. See?
Right, but if you by chance messed up and say you already submitted the 25th even, then there's no way. I mean, you're basically in a lock system then.
Yeah, once you submitted it, because then it went to TRS. Yeah, so then we have to go in and help you out to fix that. So that's what we want to try to avoid. So if you're going to go edit it, try to edit it beforehand before you hit the submit. You're right. Any other questions? Oh, go ahead, Michael.
No. I'm just going to say thank you, Jess. And this is one of those things that we want to definitely highlight. The first piece that Randall was showing, doing your very best. Look at both days. I know very few we had to fix. They were often because we're working 24 hours a day. We've got an assistant or crew leader who really has not been doing much submitting at all, right? So again, help us on that part. Look at both days. When something needs to be edited, and this is going to start from a supervisor. So Jess or Randall, if you wouldn't mind sharing your screen again, I want to look at the morning portion. So I'm not sure, Jess, if you just deleted the morning example that Randall had, but if one of you can share back on that morning side, go ahead and make a 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. because what I want to speak to you a little bit now is the lunch. So as they go through and document here, we've had it that we automatically take 30 minutes out for lunch. As you guys have heard us talk a lot, we're supporting our policy that we need our employees to stop. I think it's frustrating in examples that the reality is you guys are all about getting the work done. I don't know how to show enough appreciation for that. Concerns for y'all's safety, but you guys are more concerned about taking care of the community and everyone out there. And I'm told, I get in a truck and I don't literally get out of a truck. Okay, I'm not here to debate that. What I am here is I want to make sure that when someone's owed 12 hours of pay, they get paid 12 hours of pay. Okay. So one of the reasons we wanted to bring this up is because this is driven from the employee did 7 p.m., 7, and it's going to be the nighttime people. It's not going to be your daytime because it's no big deal. They'll see it all, right? But that nighttime bunch, they're putting in 7 to 7, and they're going to get paid 11 and a half hours. Somewhere in there, they're going to get frustrated that morning, and they're going to want to edit this, right? That's not right. So it takes them down the path of what Jess was just showing. They hit delete on the activity. It's all messed up now. We've separated the two. Who knows what's going on, right? If an employee has to get the extra 30 minutes on the morning portion, okay, so yeah, we'll go over to the next day. I'm not sure if Randall or Jess is going there. They're going to have to extend that morning to 7:30 in my example. So when they come in here, you're going to have edit and take that 7 and make that 7:30 and then just calculate hours again. Now, when you do this, you're going to find that this is frustrating because likely, yes, to require to work, likely you're having to redistribute hours again. So it's going to be irresponsible for us to change the process of the policy, right? We can't. We got to keep it so that it takes the lunch out of there. I don't know that I've even got a real good solution for you all. My suggestion, I'm not sure that you probably want your employee to mess with that extending the 30 minutes. It's probably better for you all supervisors to do it. Or, again, as supervisors, if you're telling them to do this, again, I'm not going to get in the middle of that conversation, but if you're telling them, your crew leader's telling them, do not take a lunch, you're almost better to make sure that they pick 7 p.m. to 7:30. They're not going to be editing that 30 minutes in the morning. I just don't know of any other way to do it, right? And at the end of the day, employees need paid what they did. But I also will let you guys know we've had a lot of conversations about it, but be aware this still is also our concern of our own employees. And I just know I hear how tough it is. So anyway, I think this is happening a little bit. Again, it's all tied into this whole editing thing a little bit, right? If you see something you don't agree with, you start trying to click and edit stuff, and it will get all goofy. Hey, this was the first time, as Randall pointed out, in multiple years that we've had 7-10 days worth straight in a row, constant 12s. Just gets really challenging, and it gets challenging whenever it gets goofy in the first day or so. So again, keep those kind of things in mind there. Be helpful of that. We're going to step away from the winter conversation, but I don't want to go away from this yet until we answer. If you guys got more questions, so if you would put some questions over there in the chat or raise your hand. I'm going to talk a little bit about strike teams a little bit. Tommy's going to talk a little bit about winter route segments. Okay, so we're going to stay on this winter for a little bit longer. So please, if you got something over there, put it over there so we don't leave that. But we're getting ready to move on from the winter discussion. So let me talk about strike teams for just a second. I'll share my screen with you. We had probably almost 100 people that was on a strike team this time. We had people from the Northwest going into Kansas City. We had people from Northeast going into St. Louis. We had people Southeast going to both Kansas City and St. Louis. We had people from Central District going to Kansas City. We had people from Southwest going to Kansas City. And we also had within the Northeast, they particularly are moving internally and shifting people that are, again, staying in a hotel overnight to put more people down on I-70. We had a lot of people moving. And that, what I'm sharing with you right now, this is a strike team. This is how your maintenance engineers, assistant maintenance engineers set it up. It basically creates a spreadsheet of everybody, where they're going, what they're doing. This is kind of the follow-up because the conversations are already occurring. Who can volunteer? Who can go? Sometimes it almost feels like voluntold, right? I mean, we're needing to move people. This is at least the third year in a row we've done it, maybe the fourth, but no, for sure the third row that we've moved this kind of people. So when it comes to this strike team group, okay, one of the challenges on that is that only crew leaders, assistants, and supervisors can edit market adjustment. Again, you had a lot going on. We try to let notification, but you're going to have to move that market adjustment for that employee. Same kind of rule Randall was talking about. Anytime you ever make an edit on the documented work labor page, always pick next, move on at least a page. That way that stuff gets to review and submit. There is a final fix that can be done in TRS if it's missed, right? And that's how those people can move from an example in Northwest, right? They're getting $3 extra per hour. They move into Kansas City. They're on a strike team. They're away from Homestead Hotel a couple nights. They move from $3 to $12 an hour. I mean, that's a substantial change. So we want this. We want it to be right. But it's not automated by a long ways. Right? There's a lot of hands in the mix of checking this. So that just adds even more complexity. So that's the world of strike teams. Those are always, again, they're pre-planned where people are going to go and how that is all managed. I didn't ever look, overall, we were probably somewhere in that range of probably 3,200 employees involved in this last event. We had probably just about all of our supplemental involved, pretty big. A lot of activity there going on with that part there. So I'm going to turn it over to Randall or Tommy. He's going to talk a little bit about routes. But again, if you got other things about winter, please let us know because, again, we're going to move away from that topic here in just a second.
Okay, thanks, Michael. We just wanted to quickly go over the winter route segments. We pretty much probably touched a good most of the routes through this last event. But one of the things you guys can do, I'm going to share here real quick, is let us know if the way that the route segments are set up are not matching the way that you plow. And you can use MMS to figure that out. So I've just went into my area here in MMS and opened up my routes, and under there you have your winter operations, continuous and non-continuous. I'll kind of zoom in there a little bit. I'm just in Jeff City because that's where I'm at. And you can see we have a couple outer roads here that are non-continuous. If you click on that too, it'll highlight that segment and give you the begin log, end log, kind of tell you what that route is, where it's at. If that's not matching that the way you do, you guys just let us know. If you can do a screenshot like this or give us some Google map, however, and tell us where that route needs to stop or break or be split, whatever that case may be, then we can take care of that for you. So this is usually a topic that comes up every winter. Man, I wish you guys could make this match the way we actually plow and turn around out there. Well, we can if you guys let us know, and it's really simple. Just go out here to MMS to my area and look at your winter ops layers, and you can tell where we have the segments going to, and we can make those adjustments as needed. Is there anything else, Randall, Michael, that we wanted to talk about? This is pretty straightforward. Just we can help you if you let us know.
Yeah, I think that covers it.
Okay, then I'm gonna turn you over. Like Michael said, that's kind of the end of the winter as far as the applications. Randall and Mike are going to talk about some of our PIs, our Power BIs that ties into some of the winter data.
This is Cherie. I just want to, I can't remember whether you mentioned it or not, but we just want to make sure that everyone is documenting in MMS. Even if they use supervisor, you have non-maintenance employees coming to your building, we need to make sure that everyone is documenting in MMS, even if they're going to have to go and document directly into TRS afterwards. So keep that in mind.
All right. Thank you, Cherie. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I do have one more winter topic, and that's the consumable inventory. So getting your winter mixes. Because there was so much, it went on so long, we had different orgs had to switch over maybe to a different aggregate. They used all their aggregate and they used a different aggregate, or we had some loaders that went down and they had to change the size of their loader bucket and that kind of stuff. So we got a few calls on that. I just want to do a quick reminder of the consumable inventory and how you make those changes. So if you go into supervisor, it goes into consumable inventory and then clicks manage winter materials. That's where this is all at. So if you want to change, let's say the size of your bucket changed, all you would do is you click edit on this top row and then just change that from 2 to 3 ton, whatever the change may be. And that's going to change the size of your loader bucket. Back to the aggregate, if we wanted to look at that, and you can edit either the amount of aggregate that's going into that ton, or you can delete it completely. And let's say they ran out of sand and they want to add something else, we'll go to add inventory material, and it's on the winter mix. And then it's an aggregate, we want to add a different aggregate, and you just pick whichever aggregate you want and the amount. That's the amount per ton. And it's going to add it back in there. So those changes are all made from this winter material, manage winter materials. It's best if you can get that done before the storm hits, because once they start documenting, then it's difficult to go back and change all that stuff. But right here, manage winter materials. All right. No questions. I'll turn it over. Michael, you want to show them some Power BI stuff?
Randall, Michael had to step away. He would ask if you could continue on with the Power BI as we had set up.
All right. Sounds like fun. So to get to the Power BI, so these are basically just reports that we've put together. They pull from a lot of different locations. They're actually separate from MMS. Power BI is its own program. It's part of the Microsoft suite. So to get to those reports, you can click on this reports.
Randall.
Oh yeah, I quit. Thanks, Tommy. Click on the reports button on the home page, and that's going to open up a SharePoint page that has them broken out between. This is the biggest. These are called heroes or buttons. This biggest hero here is the one that you will go to most of the time. We do have some safety and then some central office maintenance, but most people will be restricted from those. So then if you click the MMS Power BI reports, it's going to bring up several different reports. Depending on what level of access you have, you may have more or less reports than were shown here. For the winter stuff, there's two different ones really that have winter stuff. The situational awareness is what we use mostly before the storm. There's some overview. It breaks down some employee information, a little bit of equipment information, and then materials. Just as it says, an overview, pretty quick look at it. You can get down into the details of the employees, how many are in each different category that we have, and all the way down to the superintendent or org level. The fleet, same thing, and it is kind of going to give you a percentage that's down of a night. This is based on information that the DMEs put in. They can control how much percent they want to go day, how much a night. Salt, it's going to give you basically what's we started with and then what's on hand and the percentage left. A little bit of information that's just for winter operations, just some basic safety stuff. Training, this is one that I know he wanted to go over a little bit. So this is a report that pulls all of the trainings required for winter ops. So it's going to break this down by org and job title for these winter ops. You can select your org. It says plow org because people plow out of different orgs. So if a construction employee or something is plowing out of, say, this 7A15, whatever that org is, it's going to add those people to this org. So for this org, you can see there's 10 employees that plow in that one. 8 have all of their training. So there are a couple employees that still don't have all 12. Most of them are probably OJTs. But this is a good little report. We're updating some stuff right now to take care of the transfers that's happened in the last few weeks and trying to get this updated. But this is a pretty good place to see where you're at with snowplow trainings only. And then there's a staffing map that shows how we're staffed versus the equipment that we have. And then this is just a summary for a snow call. The other one that has a lot of winter information is this activity report. These are not just for winter events. You can look at any activity that you worked. We did create a specific report for winter events. These are estimates. So you'll notice most of these say estimated labor, estimated equipment. And the reason it's estimates is because it's basically live. So this is telling us what's done even before you've submitted your time to TRS. So we've used it to provide estimates for senior management on how much this storm's costing us, where are we at with materials. It's also a pretty good place we found if somebody's maybe fat-fingered some material usage, it'll show somebody's way high. And we can contact you before you submit it and get that changed. Makes it a little bit easier. So if we reach out and say, hey, it looks like you've documented a whole lot of aggregate or whatever salt, that's where this is coming from. So the estimates are based on an average labor cost and equipment cost. So if you'll notice, you can change the date range. So for the storm that lasted from the 4th to the 12th, which was quite the event, It was roughly $22 million storm. So just a heads up out there, how this is kind of where and how we come up with a lot of those estimates that you see put out. I think those are the main
Hey,
ones.
Randall,
Randall.
Oh,
There
there's
we go.
Michael. Go.
Hey,
Go for it.
so so thank you guys. I need to step away for just a second there. On this piece of information, what you guys are doing is giving us the ability that, again, there's no other way to tell this, right? I'm being asked. I was asked Monday. So the storm started on Saturday, Friday night and Saturday. I was asked on Monday, how much money have we spent? You know, and so because of what you all do and your crews do, we can have an ability really fast to start talking about estimates. And we stay in that world. It's okay that, I mean, we don't look for perfection, but we're looking at estimates. We're looking at how many people are involved. There's a lot of those kind of things kind of going on there. I don't know if you had a chance, Randall, to show that bottom left is the salt documentation there. Some of you I did reach out to on salt. The reality was we just have some buildings that it appears still, and some of you supervisors know I've talked with you. The supervisor is the one that's reporting all the salt. Usually, in what we've had with a 2-day storm, it's no real big deal. You don't see something. Well, now we're sitting. We were a week out, and there might not have been all the salt reported yet, right? Just want you guys to think through that. Again, I still don't know that that's our best mechanism. You know that I believe in the thought of employers report what they do. I also know you guys have varying degrees of success with certain individuals, but at the end of the day, we're using this kind of just see where we're at, right? So if you come in, you can pick your own building, but that winter materials, you'll notice down there when he clicks on winter materials detail, that actually opens to another page, and that's where we can start looking at some other things. And we can change and look at salt brine. So there were some questions that were sent out this week, a little bit about kind of chasing down some of the salt brine quantities. It just appeared that, maybe they were being underreported. I think the fundamental question at the end of the day is like, well, who really cares, right? What's most important? We get the road cleared. I don't disagree. Matter of fact, get it cleared safely, right? But we just want to use the information we're capturing anyways. We know you're going to put your time in, do the best you can, but this helps start speaking to just the reality of what you're all having to face and what you're having to do. So anyway, these are out here. Anyone can come look at those particular reports and information and kind of see what that looks like. Last couple of years as a winter as a whole, we have been averaging, a little under 50 million is probably, so, we're not too far short of one storm almost being half of what a kind of normal winter's been. But this was a good winter storm, pretty impactful statewide there. So we just want to kind of show you how we connect some of those dots and how those things kind of tie up into there in that piece. So one of the things about inventory, in the middle of the storm, we started having some of our districts talk about we might be needing to order back salt. Okay, so this page here will let us know, well, what's been reported. I will always be listening a little bit, and I might hear a district say, hey, we've used so much salt, we need to start ordering back, or we're moving salt around. And I'll often ask them, I said, well, where are you getting this information from, right? Because I'm not necessarily seeing it reported yet or not, right? So it's kind of a check and balance. Down below our situational awareness on the far left there, that's where we've built a bunch of our different just things about winter. And this is one of those to kind of help just see where we are on salt quantity. This particular visual here, it is looking at your warehouse. So this will always delay until you have submitted time and your warehouse has been balanced back out. So in the middle of coming into a storm, this is pretty good. I mean, these numbers should be accurate of what is in your warehouse is what's been reported. But in the middle of a storm, this isn't very helpful because we haven't submitted time. So we'll use these in different ways to kind of just see how things are progressing, what's it look like, and how those things are maneuvering along there with that. So We've got pieces out here for training. I think just down below the salt one, there is one that talks about our training. This one is helping us kind of keep a track of what it looks like on our percent trained. So I think if you can switch that, Randall, maybe go to, yeah. So we're sitting, I think overall, if we don't put supervisors in there, so this is our maintenance personnel, 2598. That'd be signal electricians. That should include our supplemental help. Maybe that might be a little low, but this is all 12 courses completed. And so we also have seen a big increase in the last week on the OJTs for winter, which is great, right? And all of this is tying back into just making sure employees are trained. Let me see if I can mute here for a second, guys. All right. So one of the pieces,
we can make at least 5,000 probably gallon.
There we go. Okay. So one of those pieces that comes along with this training is how we're trying to tie everything in together here, and just have the awareness that everything really can be checked off, that all of these pieces are done. And we've been in it a while, right? And we continue to work through this. Hopefully, we're getting in a much better spot. But definitely, we want to find ourselves that we can get these OJTs for winter operations. And once those supervisors, you're confident, they're confident in that. Those things are entered, they're updated. But there were hundreds of those that came in just in the last week or so that were put into movers with that information. So let's see here. Tommy, Randall, was there anything else we were wanting to kind of highlight on these particular ones that you remember?
That is all I had. We really didn't take a pause and see if there was any questions related to any of those, but
absolutely, yeah,
we covered it.
Okay. Well, as we've shown in the past, we're constantly adding different Power BIs out here. At some point we might consider just doing a demonstration just on only the Power BIs, because, like I said, it's just pretty frequently that we're adding something to it and trying to help find an easier way to answer a question. But let's move on to our next topic here. I think Tommy, Randall's going to talk a little bit about some new functionality that we have on non-fleet. Appreciate it.
Yep. And one other thing about those Power BIs, if you've got a question you're trying to answer, reach out to us. We've got access to a lot of information. So just know that, it may take you a couple of days to look in different places and find all that stuff. We may already have one set up, or we may be able to get that information for you pretty quickly. So reach out if somebody's asking you a question and you need help getting that. So let's talk about non-fleet stuff for just a second. We've really made a push trying to get specifically the UTVs into where you can document your miles and hours with the UTVs, working with those spray groups, pulling that information in. Because we were doing that, it kind of opened up the entire world of non-fleet items. This could go all the way down to those air compressors that they have an engine on them, they need oil changes, all that stuff. They're in Fleet Focus, what used to be Faster, and there's not really been a good way in the past to keep track of that stuff. So we're working trying to get that stuff entered into MMS where you can document some hours, mostly hours on non-fleet, but there could be miles also. So in saying that, we have been working with the Geotab folks, trying to get all that stuff ready to go. So let me go. I was in the wrong environment. I want to go ahead and go to production here, and we'll mess with Willow Springs. So I want to go through and just document real quickly and show you what that's going to look like for you. This is turned on for several different activities, all of the spraying activities, some pothole patching, and I think even pavement repair, where you would use those UTVs. So we'll document today I'm going to add an activity for him. And let's go to the roadside activity. So Scotty's been in here since I was in this morning. So let's go through and look. So for this 41W, you're going to notice now that there's a non-fleet bucket here. And if we drop this down, this is some different non-fleet equipment that they can charge miles and or hours to. Works the same as the rest of your fleet stuff. It's just this is non-fleet. You'll notice this one UTV has GPS on. It is the same thing. It's working just like the others. It's bringing in what the hours are on that piece of equipment from Geotab. So you can document your non-fleet stuff. Really, right now I would focus on the UTVs, but you can document some other stuff, and if you don't see it, you can search for it and bring it back. If there's a piece of equipment that you want added that you're not finding, let us know. We can work to get that added and see what settings need to be changed. But UTVs are now available for all of the spraying operations and pothole patching and R312 pavement repair. If you want it for something else, once again, reach out to us, let us know. Any questions or thoughts on non-fleet? That's kind of a change that we haven't really talked much about. All right, Tommy, quiet group. We'll send it back to you.
Okay, I want to show you some new functionality that is coming up. Should be coming out here in a couple weeks with our February monthly changes. What we've done here is add a training data button for everyone on their license and training page. So we're going to go out to ladder license and leave and go into license and training. And then under the training courses, we've added a new button up here called required training report. This will be the first time that non-supervisors have the ability to see their required training report based upon their job title. For our supervisors, you will still have that same ability as if you went through the safety dashboard page over here and you click this training data button, you'll still be able to see the same amount of training data. But over here, only supervisors can even see this button. And the new functionality that's coming, every user will have the ability to look and see required training based on job title. I'm going to see, this is still in development. I want to see if this is working yet. This is still in our development environment, so this may or may not load up. Because I know not everyone gets to see that other report. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to load. Anyway, so this will be, I think in a couple weeks, they'll have this, couple, 3 weeks here, we'll have this ready and it'll be deployed out and everyone will see the new required training report button here on this page. Nothing's changed over here, supervisors. You can still get the training data over here as well. But again, that other page is for non-supervisors. Michael, was there anything else you wanted to add to that or about that?
The main thing we're trying to get to is that there's two pieces come up multiple times. I had a lot of calls from crew leaders saying, "Hey, my supervisors tell me I'm responsible for training, but I can't see what people have been trained on." And we've kind of stayed with that, right? You're not the supervisor. You're not the engaged supervisor. We really don't have direction to be doing that. So we try to help by any employee can see their own what they're missing versus required. So as Tommy was showing you, right? Everyone can see what they have. We've had that for now over a year. but we want this ability here starting the next couple of weeks. If I'm a senior maintenance worker, construction inspector, if I'm an intermediate bridge worker, I can come to my ladder license leave, see what's on my transcript, but then I can click another button and say, okay, but for my job title, what am I missing? Right. And so it'll be there. Our our maintenance worker series, they could go see that in Career Ladder. Again, we want all these things to connect, but we need that ability that everyone can kind of see what's being missed on that piece there for their jobs. So hopefully this will be a big benefit. And like I said, we'll let you guys know once it goes to production.
Yeah, and I probably didn't do a good job clarifying, but the training tab here, this gives you all your training, everything that you've taken, regardless of job title or if you're pushing. But this required training report are those requirements specific to a job title. I didn't say that very well the first time.
All right. Thank you, Tommy. We're going to stay on the top. We're going to stay on the topic of training for just a little bit more and kind of wrap into some of our safety scores. That's pretty much going to finish up our meeting. We only got about 15 minutes left here. So again, if anyone has questions, that's really what's the most important thing to us. We don't know what we don't know, right? And if something out there going on that we need to be aware of, let us know. So we've had training alerts in the assigning work for almost 2.5 years now. Is because we started with them in August of like 22 is about when we started with those. They have throughout the time, they've definitely got more things added to them as we've kind of moved along. Tommy, Randall, I'll let you guys read that message there and then stop me when you feel like we can answer that. So with that training alerts, particularly when we moved to movers this summer, that whole process is kind of creating a little bit of just how do we keep up with our data. And so we want this to be timely, and we're still trying to work through some of that with our training group. It's got significantly better. So I'm just encouraging you guys where we're going to be going with in training here is more. I mean, as far as the alerts, it's just be more aware that we want more. We want the effort of assigning work to be as complete as you can. Okay. So just last week, I went and looked. There's about 1,000 training alerts from last week statewide. That was almost 100 people getting tagged. And I'm not saying that any of those are necessarily wrong things. A good amount of those are still people who had just went through Gear Up, and that's okay, right? There might be a week or two. That's where they want to get to. And some of these have got more time, but it's got better. But we need that training alerts to really be as complete as possible. This is what the people are doing, roles in there, what they're involved in. So encourage you guys to stay hooked up with that effort on what is being trained and what they're doing with that on that piece, because it's going to tie into your safety scores. It's going to tie into a lot of things, right? So knowing that they're trained for that backhoe, pick those activities, pick those roles. Again, you're going to see us here in the near future tightening up that more. You hear some communication coming out of safety on this. But all that stuff's going to tie into your safety score as we work with these buildings going around. So right now, the last month or so, there's been a pretty significant effort of going around and visiting buildings that have red scores on those. We took kind of a snapshot in time back in December, and there was 39 buildings that were red. And then we took a snapshot the 1st of January, and we were down to about, I think it was 20 or about 30. And then I think as of yesterday, we're somewhere kind of maybe down around 24 or so. Definitely has been a lot of conversations about these, a lot of information being shared, a lot of really great questions being asked. District Safety Health Managers had a meeting last week I went to, a lot of good things particularly being asked about those. best thing is, again, is just everyone actively being aware of where they are in their score and what that looks like. Again, I think this is probably about in that 22, 23 range. So a good piece of numbers there continually reduce. I can tell you, I've spoken with several of these supervisors. Again, being aware of where they are, what their scores are, what's getting there, just as much as any of them, whether you're in the red or yellow. Some of those biggest items just to be mindful of. You know, you look at, I'll highlight Columbia here. Let me see if I can pick a building. Okay, so here's grounds. You know, it's just the things that you look at again. How do I actively be aware of our training? And again, new employees, particularly maintenance employees, going to have almost 30 requirements out of the gate. Some buildings, I mean, a couple new employees can really, you know, you could lose 4 or 5 points there just them coming on. But we get there. That's the right thing to be able to say, hey, we got a brand new employee working through the process. That's exactly the right deal. I mean, you're working the thing. There are things that are really tough, right? So the people getting disciplined for safety issues, again, but that's a piece that you can talk about. Is that these things we're not doing anymore, right? We had these kind of things happen, and this is our culture here. This is how we're a part of it. But I don't want to in any way seem like I don't think that this can't be its own challenge. But it's important. It's important for us to be aware. Are these the right, exact, perfect ways to measure anything? No, absolutely not. There's got to be something that can be done differently in those different ways. So this is how we're looking at doing this right now. And so I encourage you guys to continue to look at it. Let us know where you have questions. Again, a lot of questions are being asked, particularly on this subject. So we'll reach out to it. I tell you what, I'm going to step off, guys. I got a bunch of people just stepped in the room here. So I'll let Tommy and Randall kind of finish up the meeting. And thank you all so much for everything you do. Please be careful.
Okay, Tommy,
Yeah, so
I'm
Yeah.
going to have you correct me if I'm wrong here, but I've had a text on my phone and then also in here about assistant supervisors being able to see the building. And I think they should be able to see the building. Where the key comes into them having the button or not is if they have employees assigned to them in the EID. So especially if you have new assistant supervisors, sometimes HR won't assign them any employees. They have to have at least one employee at that org assigned to them in the EID to be able to see the rest of the employees there. So if you don't see that, then HR needs to assign an employee to that assistant supervisor, and then they can see all employees at that org. Am I on the right page there, Tommy?
Yeah, dead on.
Okay. So, Gary, you're not beating a dead horse there, buddy. We just need to make sure that whoever your assistant is has an employee assigned to them in the EID. HR can make that change, and it should process overnight. It should be good to go.
Any others? Yeah, any other safety related questions that we can try to answer before we move on? Okay. Well, if you do or don't want to ask it here, you can always throw a chat back in this meeting or just reach out to us, to the dedicated team. We'll be happy to give you an answer or get one if we don't know it. So we're going to finish up here. We're going to turn it over to Jessica, and she's going to show you some of our YouTube links and how to get our training videos and some things like that to try to help you if you just need some extra time with it now.
All right. So the way to get to our YouTube training, just as a reminder, if you're an MMS, you can go up to this help up here, click that. And then right here to go to YouTube, you're going to go to MMS team channel. not MMS videos. That's just some old videos that you can still access as well, but that's just on our SharePoint. So you'll want to do the MMS team channel, and this will bring you to YouTube. So it'll first bring up some playlists. You can either view some playlists, like this one's on incident reporting, career ladders, winter operations. Otherwise, I find the best way to search it is just to go to videos. So you'll click over here and click this one, and then you'll see they're all listed down there. And then you can use this search. Let's say you wanted Crossing Midnight. You could type right here and hit enter, and then it's going to bring up, there's 3 videos on Crossing Midnight right there. Just be sure, sometimes people miss this and they'll search up here. If you search up here, this is going to take you to the whole YouTube, not just our MMS YouTube channel. So make sure you're doing the search right here. We will always put these monthly trainings out there. We will be updating, trying to get some of our old videos, excuse me, that are on SharePoint updated. I'm going to try to work on that and have those then out on these videos as well. So that's a work in progress. But this is just kind of a nice way to have some searchabilities for trainings that you all used to have, and you know, any new things coming up, we'll try to make videos for. So that's just
So
a reminder
Jessica,
where
do
you
you
can find
mind
that.
do you mind putting that back in playlist grouping?
Sure. Okay, so playlist. Do you
So
want me to go to like winter
no,
operations?
it's fine, but I just wanted to kind of mention is so these playlists so we're evolving here with our YouTube video and how we're setting up this page. And so we're kind of looking at these playlists are somewhat like folders, topic folders. And so we may be doing some things here to put it in. This is the daily journal folder. This is the um, consumable inventory folder. This is the safety management. And then that way you can go there and go, okay, I know where I need to go to look for a video that I need some help with or to review. So that is something that we're going to be working on, as well as, do you mind returning back to the MMS page for me as well, Jess?
Yeah. Just one second.
Back to our homepage. And on the reports, please.
I'm sorry, what did you say you wanted to go to?
Yeah, you're good. I want to get back to the, well, I wanted to be the MMS help page. Sorry.
Oh. Okay.
So where it says MMS team channel, MMS videos, we're going to be cleaning up that a little bit too. It's something we're working with Jess. This will probably be MMS YouTube videos when we get this everything set up and done like that too. So we're going to try to make this more user friendly, more efficient, more intuitive on what you need to do, what's under that button. So they're like, well, what's a channel? Why I need to look for videos? Why can't I go to the video button? So we're going to be working on that soon, and just to make that more understandable to everyone. But those are just some of the things. YouTube videos perform way better, more efficient, especially for buildings with lower bandwidth. So those are the most efficient video or way to consume a video is through those YouTube links. And that's why we're trying to switch everything over to that versus the old big resource hog MP4 videos. So most of the time now, you should always see a YouTube video come out to us or from us.
And another thing I was going to add, Tommy, is if anybody has, you know, a certain thing that maybe isn't out there that you notice and you would like a video on that you're having trouble with, feel free to reach out to the help desk and let us know, and then we could try to create something for you.
So real quick, any questions regarding our videos? Any comments? Okay. The last thing I want to do is we have been trying for the past about a year or so to get out to buildings in person, some representation of a dedicated team. Meeting with that. If you would like for us to come to, not necessarily a training, we can come do training, but we can do training online. But we really been coming out and just having conversations, sitting down, talking, especially when you've got new leadership or a whole new crews transition. You got a lot of new people. You wonder why we do what we do or how we do what we do. Just those kinds of things. You can reach out to the dedicated team. We'll work with you to set up time that works for schedules. We can come out there and spend a couple hours, whatever works for you guys, and just have conversation, answer questions, and do some of that. If you need training, of course, reach out to us. We'll get you training set up either via Teams or via in person, however works, whatever works for you guys. We'll do our best to get it scheduled. Guys, anything else, Dedicate team?
Nope. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Yeah, not for me.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys. Stay safe. Appreciate all the work for the winter storm. That was amazingly good job.